Welcome to season 2 of the Bigger Than You podcast, your go-to weekly podcast that blends energetics and mindset to help you do whatever it takes to bring your vision to life whilst having fun on the way. I'm Jenna Holloway, your host and multi-award-winning intuitive hypnotherapist and mindset coach. My purpose is to help mission-led business owners and visionaries who want to inspire change by leading the way in a space that otherwise may feel unnerving and too difficult. This is Bigger Than You. Hello, I am really excited. This is just me. It's been a while since it's just been me on the podcast. So something really important is coming through. I really want to share it with you. And I do have some incredible guests lined up to share with you. But I feel like I needed to jump the queue a little bit. So here's a little episode because my goal here today is to raise awareness. And when we realize something, when we make the unconscious conscious, we raise our awareness. And whether we're talking in the context of business or life or anything, there's no way we can do something about a problem if we don't know about it. So step number 1 is always going to be self-awareness, noticing, realizing, and then you can move through it. But so many of us are doing things, myself included still, and so much of what we're doing, like 95% of what we are doing is down to the subconscious mind. And it's only when we shine a light on something, we realize, oh my goodness, I'm doing that. When we realize it, then we can do something about it. But most of what we're doing is unconscious. It's the subconscious mind that's just putting us on autopilot. And so the intention with this episode is to raise your awareness so that you can listen to the things that I share and reflect on it personally and notice if any of this is showing up for you in your business or in your life. So, why do we self-sabotage? I am sure if this is not your first episode that you're listening to from me, I'm sure you've probably heard me say before that your mind doesn't care. Your brain doesn't care about your success or your happiness or your goals or your confidence. It doesn't care about any of that. It only cares about keeping you alive. And so everything that we do, when we put it through the lens of a brain that purely only cares about surviving, it makes sense. So we do things like procrastinate and have perfectionism tendencies or spend our lives hustling, like in hustle mode, never stopping, never ever stopping to relax. Not we, like everybody, obviously, but certainly some clients I work with, they've said that they never stop. Even if they're sitting down watching I'm a Celebrity at night, their brain is still going and going and going. They just cannot find a moment peace in their mind. It's about how you feel on the inside of your mind, isn't it? Because you can be in a spa and you can be like fully in a relaxing place, but if your mind doesn't feel relaxed and you cannot enjoy the moment, then what's the point? So yeah, everything that we're doing, even saying yes when we mean to say no, being a people pleaser, all of this is the brain's tactics, the brain's way to keep you safe. And most of what we are doing now as an adult is done on autopilot. And it's done, what that means is that we are running patterns and programs from the subconscious mind that were formed at a moment to keep you safe. And it can be an absolute aha moment when you realize this. And then you're like, well, okay, I really don't need to be a perfectionist anymore. I'm doing that because of a belief that I have. And when you've got the level of awareness about it, then you can do something about it. You can reprogram that belief so that you don't behave in perfectionist ways anymore. Okay? Because everything that we are doing as an adult, the way we are perceiving situations, the actions that we're taking, the feelings that we're having, they are all down to beliefs in the subconscious mind. And obviously when it's great, it's fantastic. We don't need to do any work with that. But when we have a limiting belief, it's going to be making us feel shit or guilty or shame or just heavy energy, no motivation, apathy. Anything that doesn't feel nice is coming from a root, like a program in the subconscious mind that's making you feel that way. We literally have programmed our brains during childhood. So if you are somebody that can never switch off, that's not you. That's not you as a person. That's your programming. So everything that you don't like about how you're feeling in your business or the way that you are thinking in your business is all 100% changeable because it's just down to programs that are running in the subconscious mind. I want to now take you through some specific examples so that we can add some color to this and you can actually see what I mean when I'm giving you this information about the brain. So, I'm going to take you through 3 examples of some work that needed to be done with individual clients. Actually, 2 examples of work that I've done with clients, and one story, personal story about the inner work that I did and how it was a game changer. Okay, so I will share the limiting belief. I will share how it was affecting the 2 clients and also me in our businesses, what the belief was reprogrammed to, and how it's been an absolute game changer. So, first one then. This client had visibility issues, shall we say. So, online business owners, obviously, you need to get yourself out there and you need to. We hear about, you've probably heard me say about being authentic, showing up as yourself, because your followers want to see the real you. They don't want to see like a perfect version. We can see through that now. Like, we can get a sense when somebody is only showing up with like fake high vibes or whatever. Like, we're done. Well, this is my opinion anyway. Like, I'm so done with Instagram perfection and it's just not healthy. Like, I'm very passionate about that. It is not healthy for us to be shown like an idealized imagery of a perfect business, or it's just fucking bullshit. Like, I'm high vibe because I've done my own inner work and like I literally walk my talk. Everything I'm sharing with you, I do myself and I'm constantly doing it. And it's why I'm in such a good place because I've done this inner work. I'm just so passionate about it. So, yes, you see me most of the time as like high vibe because I love my life. Like, I've got my mindset to a place where like I'm not available for anything less than joy and good feelings. You know, I've worked on my boundaries. I have a very low tolerance to resistance. So as soon as I feel that, I'm not available for it. So I do not let my vibe be brought down. And when I do, then I listen to my body, I listen to my feelings, I allow myself to be supported and all the things. I'm massively going off on a tangent here, but what I want to say is it is possible to feel really, really good. Like, I have never, ever been happier than I am now. And I feel so incredibly blessed every single day. And it's down to having done the inner work and down to creating this. I've created this life for myself. But yeah, I'm not going to end up in a rabbit hole of like law of attraction and manifestation. Like, I could literally be here for hours and I want to stick to my plan here. So I'm going to talk to you about 2 particular clients and then myself as well. So this original client, she had visibility fears. She felt that with her business and what she was doing in her business, she had to be professional. She had to show up in a certain way, which was misaligned to who she was as a person. She didn't feel that she could just be herself. The story she was playing in her mind was she was too much for some people or too messy, you know, just too real life, like not good enough for Instagram, essentially just not good enough. Okay. Now, we did a lot of work together, but this particular session stood out because of how ordinary the experience was. But the belief that was formed in that moment basically has been making my client, had been making her feel this fear of visibility, fear of not being able to show up as herself. And it's all down to this one particular moment as a child. And so let me just explain that. So in primary school, she fell off her chair and the class laughed with her. Okay. We did this work and we went back, like the subconscious mind stores everything. So the way we work together. It's like you don't have to consciously remember it. The way that I help my clients find these root memories is by using the subconscious mind to find them. So you don't need to worry that you can't remember these things. It doesn't matter. It's not the conscious mind that's remembering it, it's the subconscious mind. So her subconscious mind brought this memory up as the root cause of where this belief of not being good enough was formed. So she fell off her chair. And in that moment, she probably laughed out of embarrassment, and the class laughed too. And looking back as an adult, in our session, she could see that the class were laughing with her and not at her. She was well liked in that class. It was a lovely, lovely class. She had a great time. But in that moment, she felt like she was being laughed at, and she felt horribly embarrassed. And that put up a guard for her later on in adulthood when she comes to start her business and had to show up. That fear of what happens if you make a mistake. People were going to laugh at you. People were going to ridicule you. She took that immature, childish understanding of that memory, formed a belief, and that belief is now stored in the mind and showing up for her, like affecting the way she is in her business. And this is just incredible. I see it time and time again, all the work that I do with in terms of subconscious reprogramming, when we go back and find the root cause, it's so fascinating how it's like the everyday moments. It's not like big trauma, it's like normal moments in day-to-day life that everybody experiences. But when we form beliefs, we form them on the inside of our mind. And so even if it's the most loving experience, loving memory, if you decide as a child to form a limiting belief, it's done. And it literally is done, and no one necessarily knows about it, but that's it. So we did the work together to change this belief to an empowered one that she is good enough. Absolutely, she's good enough to be herself, and she can show up authentically as herself in all her perfectly imperfect ways. And that truly will help her in her business. And I've seen this client like massively blossom. And it feels so good. Like, obviously, I can speak personally about this. It feels so good to be able to just show up online, like being visible in your business. I show up on stories. I press live whenever I want to. Like, I can just show up exactly as I am, whatever I'm thinking. When it feels good, if I've got something to share, I share it. I don't care whether my hair looks shit or I've not done my makeup or where I am, or it doesn't matter. Like, I am totally okay to be me as I am, whatever scenario. If it feels good and I have something to share, I share it, and I do not worry. That feels really, really good as a business owner. Moving on to the next client, the limiting belief or the scenario that she found herself in that didn't feel good was complete hustle mode because of all the things that needed doing in her business. And she recognized that she really wanted support. She wanted to hire a team member, but she'd done it in the past and it didn't go well. And so now she's even more worried about hiring a team member, because what if it goes wrong and it's just more hassle than it's worth? I'd rather just do it myself, and all of this story. So she'd done it in the past, it had gone wrong, so she's back to doing everything herself. And truly, she's fed up of it. She wanted to have the support, but I recognize instantly that there's a pattern and a program running there. So we did the work. And the thing is, this client's identity, she's a really high achiever. And she always has been. In school, she excelled. And again, this goes back to a primary school moment. We found the root cause. And it was that she got put into a group, like a group work task, and she got put into a group where she was basically the most able by far. And she already had a belief system where she put pressure on herself to do well. And so in that moment, in that group task, she had pride in her work and she really wanted to do well. So she put the pressure on herself to basically just do all the work and not allow the other people in the group to pull their weight. And we didn't talk about this, but I've got a background of a teacher, so I can see this happening. The other kids in the group will have been happy to have this person just, do the whole task and everything. And so this formed a belief that for my client, she formed the belief that if you want something doing well, you've got to just do it yourself. And so it's showing up for her in her business. And because she had this belief underneath that she didn't realize that she had, when she went to hire that team member where it all went wrong and basically she ended up going back to just doing it all herself, she manifested that because she had this subconscious belief that it pays to do it all yourself and not to have the support. And so unless this belief gets reprogrammed, she's going to either carry on struggling doing it all herself or invest in having another team member again and manifesting problems with it, not being able to have the support and have that be harmonious because she didn't believe that it was possible to have support and have it be harmonious. Now, you might be thinking, why is that? Something from childhood doesn't really have anything to do with the business as an adult. Like it's not related. But here's the thing about the subconscious mind: we're always putting our current reality through the filter of what we've experienced before. And as I said earlier, our brain is trying to keep us safe at all times. It doesn't care about what would be good for the business. Absolutely not. And so anything, and this goes for life as well, anything that you are experiencing now, which is vaguely familiar to something that you've experienced in the past, which signaled danger or signaled a threat, then your brain is going to try and protect you from that. Okay. And so this is why we hold ourselves back time and time again in our business as adults. And that can show up in like procrastination, hustle mode, doing all the busy work rather than just focusing on the needle moving tasks. And it can be down to multiple different limiting beliefs. And that ultimately is why. Like, so I'm going to wrap this up in a moment. I will save my personal story for another day. Actually, I don't know. Shall I share this? I think I will. Just be a longer episode. Okay, so everything that you are experiencing in your business and in your life is a manifestation. And it's your subconscious mind that has a very, very big part to play because you will manifest according to your beliefs, because your subconscious mind is always looking for evidence of what you believe is true. So, for example, if you believe that success has to be a hard slog, then that's going to be your reality. You're going to be in hustle mode, struggling, like working your absolute arse off when it doesn't need to be that way. You can reprogram that the belief to success feels joyful and success feels easy. And then your subconscious mind will make that happen. There's a lot more to it than that and more complex than that. But when we really simplify it back down to the as simplistic as it could possibly be, your brain looks for evidence of what you believe to be true. And that is why you are experiencing life the way you are. So, final story just before I end then. I didn't realize this until I came to do some inner work, but that I didn't think I was good enough. Because I've been a serial high achiever my whole life, I just didn't realize it. Like I just thought I was confident, I can do anything I put my mind to. And I had all of these empowering beliefs. But what I didn't realize until I came to do this inner work myself was that underneath it all, I was doing it because I didn't think I was good enough. The root cause of this is the fact that I grew up in an environment where my mum and my stepdad had a pub, and the pub was hard work. If you know anybody that runs a pub, you will know that it's an extremely demanding job, long hours, very, very busy. It was incredible for many reasons, and it taught me so much, my work ethic and believing that you can create whatever you want to. Like the pub wasn't successful when my mum and stepdad took it on. They made it into an extremely successful business. So much of that experience and living, growing up in that environment was beneficial for me and my belief system. But what I didn't realize until I like in the past year, did this inner work was that underneath all of my empowering beliefs was the limiting belief that I didn't believe that I was good enough as I am, and that I had to achieve in order to feel good enough. So, yeah, at the root cause of it was this belief that I had formed. And I don't know the specific moment I formed that belief because the way I did my inner work was with a different modality. And it's the same modality that I use with clients, but it wasn't the same modality whereby we go back to a specific moment. It was different than that. So I don't actually know this moment where I formed that belief. But what is important is that I reprogrammed it. And how it was showing up for me before I did this work was working really hard and making a success of my hypnotherapy business, but doing it from a place of, I need to achieve. I need to achieve. And so I'm going to keep working and working and working, and I just won't stop. Whereas I did this reprogramming work, and now I am still very hardworking, and I'm so passionate about what I do. I love my work so, so much. But the shift really has come from the fact that now I don't need my success to validate me. I don't need my business to make me feel good enough. Okay. And it's been such a game changer. I'm so grateful for this shift in this experience, because not only has it given me so much more freedom in my business, but it's given me the feeling of being able to shift massively. So it's given me the feeling that my clients have when they go from A to B, having that experience, which I didn't even realize at the time, but experiencing the feeling of working, working, working in order to feel good enough, to now, well, I am good enough because I'm alive. And this is what literally every human being is good enough. But unfortunately, most people have an underlying limiting belief that they are not good enough because of, different moments during childhood where we form that belief. But my work and what drives me to do the work that I do is to make people feel as free and as liberated as they possibly can. And the way to do that is to reprogram limiting beliefs so that you can enjoy your success and feel that safety in your business and feel the freedom and the calm and the peace and the stability. Or ultimately, whether you don't get the success because you don't believe that you're worthy of it, it all comes down to the programming that you have in your subconscious mind. So I will leave that with you. And it might be worth you listening to this episode again, maybe take some notes and just reflect on you and your business. What are you showing signs of? Is it procrastination? Is it resistance to having support in your business? Whatever it is, take a moment to just do a little audit and ponder on that. What do you think your limiting beliefs might be? Because it ultimately always comes down to your belief system. And when you can get that working for you, it is an absolute game changer. So thank you so much for listening. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please let me know what your main takeaway was, your feedback, or if it feels good, share it on stories and tag me. I am Jenna Holloway. I'd love to know what your main takeaway was. Have a great day wherever you are. Don't forget to take time for yourself. And I will see you next week. Bye.